so bright out there. Hey, check it out. Rappers in my backyard. Rappers in my backyard. Rappers in my backyard. Ooh. What's up, family? Welcome to another exciting episode of Rappers in My Backyard, the podcast that stays lit. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you had a great week and you stay in the fight and stay on them streets and picket for our rights so that we can vote and make some changes around here. Today, our topic is going to be our relationship with snitching in hip hop with our special guests. And also on the grill today, we are going to be throwing whistleblowers on the grill as it refers to our government and the people who are talking on our behalf so we know what's going on behind closed doors. Also, you guys know that I love starting every episode off with a quote that sets the landscape for a provocative and interesting conversation. So here is the quote. A fish with his mouth closed never gets caught. And that comes from Tony Accardo. And I think that sets us up nicely for our conversation we're going to have today. So let's talk, express, relate, and connect with our special guest today. He's always up, man. And this guy, let me tell you, there's going to be heat in this yard today. Please help me welcome my one and only family. Kenny Kingpin is in the backyard.
How you doing, sis?
What's up, man?
How you been? Yeah. How you been?
Man, just trying to do this thing called a podcast.
I'm loving you doing it well. You're not just doing it, you're doing it well.
Man, thank you for that. What you been up to, man?
I'm working. I've been doing some writing. I'm in the studio.
Okay.
I'm working on a project called I Survived the War on Drugs. It's an EP.
Okay.
I've been working with some other artists as well. Artist Will Fury that I've been working with for some out of Appointment. I've been working with for some time.
Okay.
And then just developing other artists. CJ Mack is in the studio completing the project. So I've been invited to do some work on that. And really just, honing the craft.
Yeah. That's all we can do.
Blueprint. Yes, ma'am.
You doing it right too, man. I keep up with your movement, man. And so I know what's happening. But for our audience out there, y'all don't know that the Kingpin has been around for a long time. So let's set this groundwork so they know. We ain't talking with no rookie here. We talking to somebody that's been bathed, dipped, and donned to do this thing called hip hop. So tell us about your early relationship with 4th and Broadway.
Well, I got my deal with 4th and Broadway. I actually signed the deal when I was 15.
Okay.
And how that deal came about, I was actually working with Bobcat.
Oh, okay.
Who at the time was L. Cool J's DJ. He also produced some songs, I Need Love, and a couple other songs for LL.
Okay.
So Bobcat is from a neighboring neighborhood that I grew up in out here in the Crenshaw district.
Okay.
So, I was basically up under his mentorship. And my father at the time had bought me a mixer, 2 turntables. Father supported me heavy in my early days. I started off as a DJ.
Oh,
before
okay.
I actually got into rapping. So, and when I got into rapping, I was just going through the samples. We was digging in the crates back then, looking for breaks in different old R&B and sometimes rock and roll songs and find the best break. That's what one of the elements of hip hop as far as the music side of hip hop is.
Right.
So I find these 2 samples and I gave it to Bobcat. And at the time, he went back on the road with LL.
Okay.
Couldn't get around to it. So he hooked me up with a producer who ended up being Epic. And Epic was a producer who was producing BBD, MC Light at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I came, him and Richard together, we came up with a song. They said they had a placement for me for a movie. And it became Now's the Beat Turn.
Yeah.
Who actually has Ricky Bell on the hook. And it got placed in the movie Strictly Business.
Oh,
and that's how I first got my deal at 15.
Wow.
So from there, that's my entry in the business. But I'm blessed. I had a lot of mentorship from a lot of cats. Ice-T, DJ Pooh, the Battle Cats.
Right.
My father did a lot of music business. So I was born for this, indeed.
Yeah, yes, you was. And shout out to your dad, may he rest in peace. I mean, Dr. Green helped a whole lot of people with their career. I was one of them too. So, I mean, your dad is a gift, and I know you got it honestly. So, let's continue to talk about your gift.
That's right. Yeah.
So, when you were at 4th and Broadway, you did a show called The B-Turn.
Yeah.
So tell me what that song was about, because you were shooting a lot of knowledge. That was a time when we were educating each other through rap. So talk to me a little bit about that song.
Well, naturally, my father and mother, they're very academic, spiritually, politically, socially conscious individuals. So I grew up with that in my household.
Okay.
But that particular song, Now Is the B Turn, meaning Now Is the Black Turn, it was a conscious song because that's the instructions that they wanted me to touch on.
Right.
For that placement for the movie. And they knew I can deliver it. And I delivered, obviously. So the song ended up going gold. It was a blessing. And it shot up the charts. It got me on the road. Ice Cube took me overseas with him. So that was being I was so young, 15, 16, that was a defining moment in my life. It kind of set the path of what my journey was. And I knew it. I knew it, unwaveringly.
Right.
And so, that's where my journey began, as a writer, as an artist, and then all that.
Yeah. And that's a good place to start from, because at the time, 4th and Broadway, they really had their stuff together as it referred to artistry. They had a great artist development department, and they were heavy on the streets and had some of the top people in hip hop.
Mobb Deep, the Booyah Tribe, Eric B. and Rakim. So it was like I was at a hip hop powerhouse, mini independent powerhouse. And I also seen the independent movement. 4th and Broad was also distributed by Island.
Right.
But they moved and it was operating like an independent. So I flew back east. I spent a lot of time back east at 15, 16 years old on the road. So I was really got a chance to see that culture move, real at that New York pace.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And keep up at a young age, and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of insight, met a lot of legends. A lot of legends, you know what I'm saying?
And see, that's the gift right there, And so once you left 4th and Broadway, then you went on and did your thing with Rappalot Records. So how did that come about? How did you meet?
Now that journey became deep because after a couple of years, I grew older, of course. We got to get older.
We
got to get older, and it's a blessing to be able to.
Yeah.
So by that time, though, I'm only 19, 20 though.
Okay.
So, but life is moving at a lightning pace here in California, and going through a lot. So in that transition of when I left Island, because they had a staff change at the time doing the corporate maneuvers, and I didn't think that the staff really knew me as an artist, especially as I transitioned to become older. I'm transitioning at this time. I'm a young teenager.
Right.
Transitioning to become a young adult. So I'm going through changes internally, externally, and psychologically, emotionally, and all that. So in between that, I rapped on Domino's album.
Okay.
Who was produced by a good friend of mine and mentor, Battle Cat.
Right.
So that kept me warm. I got a chance to go on tours and be his hype man and keep, stay active. So in between that, Battle Cat was signed to Harrio.
Okay.
And the interest was to try and sign me.
Right.
But I was advised not to by a friend of mine who a lot of people know now. But this was before they know who he was, Big U.
Right.
So
Everybody know Big U.
He called me from jail and was like, they're going to try and approach you to sign.
Right.
You should sign with Outburst or someone else. I don't think you should go that direction because we're in the process of getting Battle Cat out of his situation, and I don't want to end up having to do the same thing again for you.
Right.
And I took that advice.
Right.
But unbeknownst, I didn't know when I was at a recording session with Battle Cat one day, and I met an individual there, and I didn't know who he was. And he turned out to be Jay Prince.
Okay.
So I met Jay Prince personally.
Okay.
And that's how I got signed to Rappalot.
So don't nothing move on Rappalot unless Jay Prince does it.
Oh yeah, nothing.
I mean, he is Houston.
He's Houston, and he runs his business like a man's supposed to run his business. That's without a doubt in, from every aspect,
Respect is a virtue.
Yeah.
So Did you put anything out under Rappalot, or was that just?
No, I put out a whole album. I put out a whole album and a few singles. I also did a single with CJ Mack over there.
Oh, okay.
You know, and we worked over there for about 3.5-4 years. And then after that, I transitioned from there and went to start to do my own independent venture. From that point, because I learned a lot independent insight from Jay Prince, being a black man, having your own label, being in the in the South, and just knowing how to book shows and organize. I really got he opened it up for me to. He said that's partly why he signed me, to be more than an artist. He said, I see you being more than an artist, and he opened up the information up to me and opened up everything to me. Took me and let me sit in on meetings he did. So I knew what it was, you know what I'm saying? And then him and my father had a connection. So he kind of like mentored me to just be more, he got my executive handle together for me. And my insight gave me the real perspective to take a realistic approach. And I always thank him for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got good game. I got solid game that you can't pay for.
That's it.
You know
That's it. From somebody that's still in this business and doing well in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Game that I'd use for a lifetime.
Yes,
you know
indeed.
So he paid me well. Man, overpaid me in that aspect.
That's really cool, because you really hear that. You know, it's like people get the game, but they never give credit to the people that give them the game.
Exactly.
So shout out to Jay Prince, and shout out to you to even manifesting the words to say that, you know, because a lot of us, once we go on with our careers, we forget those people that help build us. And that particular question or your answer sets us up nicely for the next one, because how did that record Let the Streets Tell It come about? And that was you put that out independently,
that's independent.
Right?
That was my first independent release as a solo artist.
Okay.
Prior to that, I did an independent release with a producer by the name of Bosco.
Okay.
And a friend of mine from Portland. Well, Bosco's from Portland too, and another friend of ours, Cool Nuts. We all got together and did a project called Doing Business As. It was an independent project that got picked up by Universal.
Okay.
In fact, when it was picked up by Universal, Dino DeValier signed it, and the only thing he ever signed other than us was Cash Money Records.
Yeah.
So you know, we made some incredible feats as independent. But Let the Streets Tell It, going answering your question, Let the Streets Tell It was my first independent release that I did on my own.
Oh.
And that came about, I actually wrote that song in federal prison. So I had to go away, you know, after I left Rappalot to go on to the independent journey. Right when we signed with Universal, the album never got a chance to come out because I ended up catching a federal case.
Oh, okay.
So I had to go sit down for a while. And then when I was in there, I had time to, live with myself and learn myself and decide what I'm going to do. From this point, I already made this huge major mistake and caused a setback for myself. So while I'm sitting down doing my time, I start crafting. So I, turn to my craft. Yeah. And I wrote the song Let the Streets Tell It because I started seeing, I really was watching that BET show, Original Gangsters. And it was touching on a lot of brothers from back east that was in the drug trade. Okay. And I really didn't see much outside of like Harry or Freeway Rick on a lot of brothers that put it down. That I knew from a kid up into being in there with some of them. Right. And I just felt like their stories wasn't highlighted or spoken of enough. I mean, we right here by the border. So we have some stories and some guys too, and everybody wasn't privy to getting in front of a microphone, even doing after their prison sentence or doing it. And I just want to touch on some of those dudes because they are, they're humans. They're fathers, uncles, sons, right, and people in the community. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of touching on that. Let the Streets Tell It. That's part of where I'm at now with this new project called I Survived the War on Drugs. Right. I want to look at the numbers. Let's look at the effects and why was it even declared a war and who was that war on. Right. So that's what I'm writing from that. Right.
Well, like, Let the Streets Tell It, man. It is so synonymous with what we're going through just in general. We've been going through. Yeah. That deal in reference to we don't know who's telling. What's the line? Ain't no telling who's telling. What is it?
Let the streets tell it. Ain't no telling. But ain't no telling who out here telling. Because you just really don't know until you know. Right. And that's more than likely too late. I mean, that goes down. We got the COINTEL program. And we got to look at where that derived from and who was that used against, and what was the purpose of developing that program.
Yeah.
That was the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. Look at his ideologies and his beliefs. That was an attack on our leaders in our community, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
So it's just modernized and became more high tech. So we have this subculture called hip hop. Hip hop is American made, and it does come from the inner city community. And it became this worldwide phenomenon. We have to know there's people that's planted inside to monitor it.
Yes.
In front of the mic and behind the mic.
Right.
It's going down. So we're not gonna pretend and act like it in the community been going through it. So I want to touch on that. And I did that. And then I had a very impactful response. I ended up going back east, getting Mano on it, French Montana on it. The song was just making this riffle.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I didn't have no problems from none of the guys I spoke on the song because it was authentic, and I wrote it in the context of how it was supposed to be.
Right.
I said enough to not say too much.
Yeah.
And you have to know that. You have to know that limitations, and you have to know that trail.
Right.
To navigate it.
Right.
I touched on some. I pushed the line a little bit.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But I did it on purpose, though. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't done out of folly. It was strategic and premeditated. So there you go there.
Right. And that sets us up nicely for what our topic is of even this show. What is our relationship, in your opinion, with snitching in hip hop?
I mean, as I spoke on, the COINTEL program was developed before hip hop came into existence. See, my perspective on that is, hey, if you agree to do some criminal activity and you get caught, you don't have no business taking nobody else under. So that's clear.
Right.
But then we have to define specifically on what is snitching and what isn't. If a civilian sees you breaking in their neighbor house and they call on you, that's not snitching. They didn't agree to do a crime with you.
Right.
They're performing the acts of a civilian and monitoring and trying to secure their community. They have every right to do that.
Right.
Nobody didn't agree to do no crime with you. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you sit and you in agreement to benefit and act in the crime, then you have to take the good and the bad to come with that. That's clear-cut principle for any man or woman, any grown person. So to deviate from that is immoral. That's a character flaw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. You can try and justify it and make up whatever justification, but the law is the law, the rules are the rules. So, you know what I'm saying? And so all that's blurred now. This new modern.
That's what said it's all
to get to the meat of what we said.
I don't know.
All that's blurred now because the definition has been so misconstrued and so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so we don't know what we're falling under.
Yep.
So that's where it comes to individual choice. You have to have your own moral compass and moral standards. Nobody can do that for you.
Facts.
So everybody got their own 10 toes to stand on. You know what I'm saying? So there you go there.
So our relationship, in your opinion, with snitching in hip hop is, if you're going to go in there and say, like, for instance, me and you, we both rappers, and me and you, we say, okay, I'm going to do this in, I'm going to do this in, we're going to do this slick, and we're going to do it together. Now, they might not catch you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I might be in the background fat and slow and can't get away from the cops or whatever my particular issue is. So since we made that agreement prior to, right, and you get away, I'm supposed to just go ahead, get handcuffed, right, go into jail, and just believe in my heart that you, my man, who we was doing this thing together, is going to get me out and keep me.
Well, the thing is, I might not be able to get you out. First of all, we know that we breaking the law.
Right.
So either they going to prove that or we going to disprove it and you going to come home.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So the thing is, but am I going to secure you and support you? That's key.
That's the thing.
See, we let so many of us let our people go in them cages in that darkness, and we abandon them.
Yeah.
We forget about them. I mean,
Yep.
life is complicated and it's distracting. But at the same time, we have to shore that support system. So we also contributed to the atmosphere of producing snitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and your homie got here making money and he get caught. You're not supporting and checking on his family. You over there trying to get in this woman's bed with her and all that. And he find that out in there and that bitterness settle in and so forth. And then it becomes an emotional, psychological issue. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do no emotional check on you when I got out here in the streets to do what we was doing. And that's part of the problem. It's not the screening is not there anymore.
Right.
You don't know who you out here with.
Yeah.
Until until it go bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you out here gambling, you gambling. But we gotta know, as far as this rap thing,
right?
We gotta know his agents already put in here. I mean, come on, it's been a lot going on now.
Yeah.
I mean, this hip hop community has been making a lot of money for a long time, shifting a lot of culture. And we got to know that there's agents and there's provocateurs already here. So if you're in the game right now in 2020 and you don't know you in a industry that's full of agent provocateurs and snitches and stuff, then you not being really delusional.
Yeah.
You better know the battlefield you on, because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Step on a landmine.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Easy. So, you know, you better be aware of these pitfalls and these nets. You know what I'm saying? It's the internet. And it's a web. Nets and webs.
Yes.
Don't get caught up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's so easy to get caught up with that whole process. Just like, what's your opinion about, Tekashi 6ix9ine? You know, him supposed to have snitching, you know.
Supposed to. I mean, I
don't know.
I mean,
somebody
should. Timeline, you know, I don't really know too much about only but what I read on the media and whatnot.
Right.
And I read a little bit of the indictment and stuff because I do that.
Yeah, you a knowledge seeker.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but you know, it just seemed like, you know, they knew he was a rat when they first started getting down with him. He already had told on some type of sexual case. So his character was on the table then. So for them to take him and have him shoot him around the nation, and, you know, and doing whatever they was doing, that was kind of goofy right there. Goofy
I agree with you. Maybe the rainbow here, you know, was a symbol of hope that he wouldn't snitch. You know, I'm just grasping.
They didn't think about that part. I don't think they was thinking that far ahead. Which shows what kind of, you know, their level of criminality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no foresight. Because truthfully, he wasn't even supposed to be around none of that. They hitting moves, busting moves, and he blogging. So that whole situation is messy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show.
That's what I mean.
It was like I say, goofy is, goofy does. Nobody I've been around. I like, where's the mentorship? It's stuff that I couldn't say right now. I could get a phone call. It's something I can't post certain stuff on my page. My people are gonna get on my head.
Right.
So I'm under the old law.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can post something goofy right now, and whether I think it's goofy or not, my people are gonna hit me.
Yep.
And man, what is you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm that type of guy. I think before I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm paying attention to my surroundings. But you know, we in a very emotional state, very impulsive era right now. And people do things out of impulse. Step on a landmine.
Yeah. And there it is.
Boom yourself.
And you know what, Kingpin? I just got the sign that we got to go to break, man. So we're going to follow up on this question with Kenny Kingpin. And also, we're going to be throwing on the grill, blow the whistle blowers. So you guys hang with us after this short break, and we love you. The podcast that stays lit. I'm LisaO. You know what it is.
Check. Testing. It's your guy, Kitty Kingpin, and I'm live on the Rappers in My Backyard show with LisaO. Always up.
Yo, what's cracking? It's your boy Chill, original Compton's Most Wanted, and I'm in the backyard chilling with the homegirl LisaO. West up.
Hey folks, this is Lonzo, the godfather of West Coast hip hop, kicking it live in the backyard with LisaO.
Yo, what's good? It's Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I'm thugging it in the backyard with LisaO.
What's going on, world? It's your boy No Sense. I'm here live today with LisaO and Rappers in My Backyard. Tune in.
This your girl, Miss Danielle. I'm in the backyard. Pull up with LisaO.
Yo, this your boy Infrared, and I'm kicking it with my homegirl, LisaO, and Rappers in the Backyard, Compton.
Yo, it's your boy Kid Gnarly. You tuning in with LisaO, and we're on Rappers in My Backyard. Let's get it.
This is Silky D, chilling with LisaO, right here in Rappers in My Backyard.
Yo, it's your girl Miss Toy. You know that real in the city. I'm chilling with my girl LisaO in the backyard. You know, where the rappers be.
With LisaO on Rappers in My Backyard.
What's up, family? Thank you for hanging with us and staying with us. Let's get back to Kenny Kingpin, man. He got the heat, and I want to finish up the question, and then we go to the grill. So, Kingpin.
Talk to me.
Let's finish up that last question about the whole snitching thing, and how it's such a difference. I like the way you laid out what snitching is.
Yeah, because that's important that we differentiate what snitching is and what it's not.
Right.
The context of that is all over the place right now. But we're in a very technical era, and you have all the instruments to tell on yourself.
True.
So so it's just being mindful, because they really don't even now. They don't gotta put an actual snitch on you. You're gonna tell on yourself if you just impulsive and stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have a landmine for you to step on.
Right.
Right. So you gotta be careful, because it's out there.
Yes, it is.
People who standing next to you. A lot of these cats want to rap about their experiences or somebody else's experiences. The life of crime, and then you got all your partners who's in the life of crime standing with you all in the video. You just put everybody. You just did the lineup right there. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be mindful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you got right now, it don't take much.
Right.
And the examples and demonstrations are being made one after another.
Yes.
So if you paying attention, you should be good.
That's it.
If you're not, you're gonna get knocked down. Period.
Fact. So our relationship with snitching in hip hop is
it's next to you. Be careful. Stay confidential. Keep your business to yourself.
Right.
And, if you don't want nobody to know, what was the quote? A fish with his mouth closed will not get caught.
That's it. That's it. And
Amen.
that's facts.
Factual.
And so I think we did that snitching thing real nice. And it sets us up to go to the grill. Let's go to the grill. Flames, flames, flames. Let's talk about whistleblowers, man, because I just think it would be so great, based on our conversation being about our relationship with snitching and hip hop. These are whistleblowers, which can be perceived and are being perceived by the current president as snitching.
Well, in some cases it can be snitching. Because there are political schemes, there are illegal political activity that can take place, has taken place, is taking place. And if them two people agree on to do this political criminal act under confidentiality between two, and then it go bad, and one does a proffer session with the prosecutor against you, he just snitched on you. Clean cut. Snitching don't just apply to the street, like quote unquote street world.
Right.
It takes place in all different arenas of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm holding up the non-snitch flag as it refers to the whistleblowers. Because
now, whistleblower is something different, though, because, we have political acts that affect other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like I said, but they, once you commit a crime and you agree to keep that confidential and you get caught and you share, then that is what it is.
Right.
I don't care if it's politics, at work, you know what I'm saying, corporate, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And then so what are you blowing the whistle on, and what is the purpose of you blowing that whistle?
Right.
It becomes about that from the gate.
Right. So let's talk about a couple things, because honestly, if it wasn't for these whistleblowers that we have right now, this government, man, I mean, they've already been shellacking us and just doing whatever they want to do. So, like, for instance, let's talk about this quid pro quo whole thing that went down with the Ukraine government. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for that CIA agent coming forward, you know what I mean?
But see, he's doing his job.
Right.
He's not snitching. He's working.
That's it.
He's a CIA agent. They all over the place. They come on now. So shame on him if you thought he was gonna just, So yeah, that's a different situation. That's not snitching, because that's what he does. He gathers information and share it. He's a CIA. He's Central Intelligence.
That's
agency.
his job. Because the definition, the official definition of a whistleblower is a person who informs on a person that is engaged in a illegal activity.
Yeah, and that person may be someone who didn't agree. Well, clearly it's someone who didn't agree to participate in those activities. They're not snitching.
Yeah.
They're just exposing your wrongdoings. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Who could you fault for that? How do they even know?
Yeah.
You snitched on yourself at some point in time. So there you go.
It's so tricky between the two. But again, the whistleblowers, man, they are carrying the load for us, because I just think a lot of the stuff that we're finding out that's going on behind the scenes with this guy that's in office right now is just bizarre. Then you got, I talked a couple weeks ago with BG Knockout about Bill Barr. We threw him on the grill, and it's like, it becomes a situation where you don't know who's telling. You know what I mean, Kingpin?
You let the
Second
streets tell
thing,
it.
right? And the streets is getting the stories mixed up. Because let me tell you, did you hear about the whole thing that went down with Bill Barr coming after the cannabis supplier community because of the fact that he does not like, or his president, who he served and does everything personally for, has a problem with the cannabis community? I guess he can't figure out no way to make no money. So this employee, Department of Justice employee, John Ellis, or Elias, I believe, he was the whistleblower to let everybody know that Bill Barr was doing this out of his personal dislike of a certain kind of business.
And that's what's wrong with the system. The system's flaws. Too much personal weight being put on your personal issue, and people having the leverage to do that because they got political power, financial power, and they're using that as tools to commit injustices against other people who don't have it. Disparity, the same thing. That's what we all protesting, arguing, and speaking out against right now.
Yes.
This is what needs to be corrected within the system. This is Semitic oppression.
Yeah, it is.
Period. And that's that attitude. Oh, I have a personal vendetta, a personal dislike, a personal gripe, and I'm going to leverage a whole political system or industry against you because you stand with something that I don't like. And then we playing that type of ball, that becomes out of control. That becomes an ego competition thing. You already know your ego is not your amigo. So
no, it's not. It's never your friend. But at the same time, whatever he's doing, like this dude, Bill Barr, if it wasn't for like this whistleblower, we wouldn't even know there's a problem, because we still haven't gotten marijuana legalized from the federal. Exactly. So then when we go out in the street, and folks is blowing, everybody is confused because federally it's not legal, and then locally it's legal. So there's another game.
And it's paramount to know the difference from state and federal law. Like when I had to go do my time in feds, a lot of guys in there thought they were operating under state law.
Right.
Until they got that guidelines. Right. And seeing and that education. And then, like I say, lack of education breeds snitches.
Yes.
Getting out here committing crimes and you don't know what the punishment is. And then when you get in that predicament, you can't handle that pressure. Yes. You realize your shoulders aren't that strong. That type of stuff. Because like you said, in the streets or in the urban community, we have been misinformed by so much.
Yes.
And that affects our decision making, which affect our conditions.
Right.
Financially, politically, community wise, individually. And that's where whistleblowers can help at.
Yes.
They bring truth to light. See, that's the difference. Like I said, that whistleblowers like I said, what is the purpose of you using that whistle? Are you waking us up, or are you criminalizing and continue to, try and fatten up the private prison industry?
Right.
So I say, what's the purpose of you using that whistle?
That's
the real question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the issue. Now I know this is totally off thing, but do you think Too Short's song was about whistleblowers? Blow the whistle. No, I had to.
I like that though. I don't think he was necessarily using it on that context.
I know.
But again, the whistle was bringing awareness.
There it is. And check this out.
It's you got a whistle.
You got a whistle on your bag that you brought today.
Yeah, so I sure did. Can we shout out to the whistle?
There it is. I love the whistleblower. Because you know what? Quite honestly, Kingpin, if we didn't have these whistleblowers right now, on top of all the emotion we're going through, all the confusion. We don't know, we don't know who's telling, the streets telling, we all confused. And then we also are misinformed within ourselves.
That part.
We are in a really bad place right now.
Because, and another thing is, like, we have information accessible to in the palm of our hands, but we don't have any empowerment. So now we're no different than our phones and computer. We're just gathering information with no ability to initiate it and do anything with it. So, for that part, that's can be self-destructive in its too much light can blind you. So, you know what I'm saying? So we have to really pay attention to what we have, information that we have access to and what are we doing with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we weaponizing it, or we empowering ourselves with it.
Right. And I just wanted to link on to that statement which you said, that too much light can blind you, especially when you've been kept in the dark. So see, our eyes is hard because we're in a cave. So now all of a sudden y'all cut the lights on, and guess what? We're not ready.
And we can't see.
Now it's all fuzzy in front of me right now. I'm talking to my doctor now. Can I get some fresh eye focus so that I can
get that clear vision up?
Because, dude, I mean, there's just so many layers, and when I talk to people in our culture, and and even people outside of our culture, there's so many layers that all we can do is just peel one at a time, so you understand my journey. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not just this one thing that got us out here and people whistleblowing and protesting and everything. That's because people have had enough of the elite people starving the people who do the work.
Exactly. It's time for equal distribution of power, wealth, and resources.
That's it.
Period.
That's it. And with that, man, I think we burnt that up. So let's blow the whistle for the whistleblower. Shout out the t-shirt. Get out of here, whistleblower, and be gone. That was a good one, man, because I'm telling you, everybody just label and be so silly with the snitch word. There's a difference.
They're all over the place with it. Yeah, it's a difference.
That's why I wanted to throw that on the grill while you were here, so they can see that dichotomy between snitch
and whistleblower. Exactly.
Snitch.
See, whistleblowers bringing awareness. The snitch is trying to wiggle out of something.
That's it, for their own benefit. That's the difference between the snitch. Y'all hear that? All right, let's keep pushing forward, man. So how has social media added fuel to the fire of being a snitch?
Well,
man.
The social media makes information is traveling faster. Events, we are happening almost omnipresent. When I go through something, and if I got that live on or something, you almost going through it with me or watching me. It's all. Some people have they live on, and unfortunate situations, they get killed right on the live.
Yeah.
So it's like it's real lifetime in real time. Everything's in real time now.
Yeah.
And it's making the world smaller. Communication is instant now. So it's a lot of things going on. I said that to say this. That's when you have the problem of mishandling of information. I personally believe that all this information is like a distraction.
Yeah.
Because we can't even do nothing with all this stuff. They have more than 90% of the information we have on Google and in the palm of our hand, we can't do nothing with anyway. Because again, you have the information, but you don't have the resources to empower yourself to initiate anything.
Right.
And that's the missing part. So we live in an era where remember we used to hear the phrase information is power?
Yeah.
Well, it's not all that powerful anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Resources and the ability to initiate information is the real power. So I believe that they just filling us up with a whole bunch of information. People on social media arguing about little small issues, and we just trading information around, wasting a whole bunch of time.
Yep.
Just passing the information around. And but you know what happens when you pass the information? By the time it get back to you, it ain't even what you said.
The right information.
So it's a lot of, in other words, there's a lot of disillusion. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of a lot of misjudgment. A lot of assumptions.
Right.
A lot of people moving under assumption. They don't even have the actual facts or even know what they're trying to accomplish or even where they're going. They're just moving and talking.
Right.
And that's what social media enables.
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm saying? So it's pros and cons of that,
Yeah, and it just weirds the whole thing out. But it seemed like our conversation been linking together like a chain because let's talk about your new single, Always Up, because I think that is nicely ties together everything we're talking about. You need to be aware. It's 24/7. When did we ever get a nap? You see what I'm saying? Even when I was in preschool and they handed me my pillow and told me my cot was right there, I could never take a nap. I would lay down but never sleep.
Exactly.
So that sets us up for your song, Always Up. How did that come together, dude?
Always
That
Up.
is...
You know, I've been doing this for some time now. And,
Right.
And being an independent artist and an artist / executive, having to be the executive and the financer, I went through a lot of ups and downs.
Right.
But after time passed, I realized all throughout all my ups and downs, I always had my spirit. Even in my low time, I always had that willingness to get back up and go.
Right.
So I'm not really down. As long as I can move forward, you know, I'm not laying down.
Right.
So it's a song of overcoming obstacles, a song of triumph. You know what I'm saying? From my personal experience and observation, my personal sharing a little bit of my personal triumphs and, you know, overcoming, and just like it's my victory song. It's my victory anthem. I'm always up. Even when I fall, I land on my feet. You know?
And you know what? Your song is my anthem too. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I love that song because there is no excuses in our culture. There really isn't.
Amen.
Because excuses sets us up for failure. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of us walking around still dealing with the same excuses that was done to us for whatever reason. We got to always be up if we want to win at a game that was not designed for us. You see what I'm saying?
Know that part from the jump.
And yeah.
Exactly.
And I just really love how you've been playing as far as promoting this thing, like you did like this real African history type run where people were dancing around.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how provocative you have been with the platform with that single, man.
Well, what I want to do with that single is, you know, show my own, not just show my own strength, perseverance, and resilience as an artist,
right,
but encourage others too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't lay down and you stay active, you're going to one day hit your goal or probably beyond that. You know what I'm saying? It might be something else you find.
Yes.
As long as you stay on the path and stay on the road. So I want to build that song up in a way where it was inspiring. And I really didn't want to just jump out there. I want people to watch the song grow. Yeah. Always up.
Yeah.
So I want you to see this journey. I want you to say, here, this is where I'm at now. I don't have much of nothing, but watch me build this.
Yep.
And that's what it's about. So I figure I want to physically display that through the song, through the marketing and promotion of the song, and I'm still building it up. Oh, and it's gonna go there. It might not be my biggest song, but I want to document this. This is where I started. I had to come up with this. First, I had to come up with the song. I had to come up with these images that reflected the song.
Right.
How can I bring light to the lyrics? So that just comes to me just being into marketing, promoting, and doing my independent thing. But that was my intentions in that creative space with that song.
But you've always been on time with the records that you released. From when you was with 4th and Broadway, you was talking about the Black experience. And then even when you got to Rappalot and you was able to chop it up and learn from Jay Prince, you know what I'm saying, how to be independent, you know, and then that prepared you for your independent project. And then again, you were still keeping us up on the Black culture. For that, Kenny Kingpin, I'm really, really respectful for. I appreciate that, man. You're a real dude for that. And I always like to ask different people that come on the show, you know, because this thing is all about relationships.
Indeed.
You know, and that's why you're here today, because you got a relationship, you and I do. But is there a relationship in music and entertainment, or just period, that you would like to mend, and why?
I wouldn't say mend. I would just like to communicate better with certain individuals. You know, like I probably communicate with them vaguely, just tap in. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty satisfied with relationships that didn't work. I'm pretty satisfied with moving on. I'd rather run in place than run backwards any day.
Hey,
so
it got
I'm just being real, because when I have a relationship with people, I don't just let them flow by the wayside. I can, you know, I'm all for accountability. So if it got to a point where we just had to fizzle out and just go our separate ways, then that was, you know, sometimes that's a part of the relationship.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? That's a phase of it. So at this point, you know, I just like to strengthen some of the relationships that I already have.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go save nothing that already been
It already
demolished.
been put in the refrigerator and
it's already,
demolished.
whatever that issue was, we can move on, and I wish them peace. But no, not at this point. No clue. I just want to strengthen the ones I have already.
Right. And I just want to add to that a little bit. We need to get better with our communication, because a lot of our fallouts be on misunderstandings. You know what I'm saying? I told you 5 o'clock, you came at 4:30. You know, just stuff that don't make any sense, because we have this thing where we don't ever want to show weakness. Let me tell you right now, I need you. Okay, I'm not going to front on that. So if I need you, I need to treat you like I need you. And see, that's the main problem with our relationship. You know, you can't be tough in giving and loving and accepting too. You see what I'm saying? You got to pick a side, like in a gang war. I'm with love, and you can go with killing if you want to, but I know ultimately I'm going to win this battle.
Yeah, because love override
all the time,
every time.
So we need to do better with our relationships.
I agree with that. Yeah, most of the time it's miscommunication.
Facts.
And I noticed that we really don't have patience for each other, but we have patience for everything else. We have patience for this president. We have patience for every opposition that against us, but the people standing next to us, we don't have no patience for. I mean, I know it get tiring, but you tend to have patience for things that you love, that you know have patience for you. That's in human nature to reciprocate.
Right.
We all wired to do that.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
But we should just give naturally. If you're looking to get in that same vein which you gave, then guess what? You're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
You know,
inclusion
because
there
it is.
Yeah, that's the way. Inclusion is the way. I'm saying that's what humans are.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start making decisions and having practices that's contradicting in that, you're going against human nature.
That's
it. I don't see I haven't seen my studying of history and even my own personal history. That has never been successful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go against self. Self don't supposed to go against self.
That's it. You know, and so we got to get that relationship thing right. So Kenny Kingpin, how'd you get in my backyard?
Oh man, it's been a long journey.
Give me a little bit.
It's been a long journey. Well, it goes deep. It's twofold, because I have a relationship with your husband,
right?
Like a friend and a mentor throughout.
Shout out to Greedy Gray.
Yeah, shout out to Greedy.
I love that.
Yeah, man, took care of me, you know, throughout different phases. He probably laughed and seen the different phases I've been through as an artist and as a person. And then I know you from my father and Dina Andrews, who's, you know, some other music mentors. That's why I say I'm blessed. I've been around all these real music and black culture executives that I figure I'm bound to one day be one myself. Yeah.
And shout out to Dina. That's why I had to take
the independent approach. Shout out to Dina.
Shout out to Dina Andrews. That was my first manager. She was the only one that believed in me, and I love her. So she's going to be really excited about seeing this show. She's going to love it. You know, and lastly, because I'm getting, I know.
I haven't seen Dina. I haven't seen her in some time now.
Yeah, she's doing politics now. So we need to get with her and figure out how we can put a movement together.
That's what we need to do.
Because this is real, and I'm on the field because I'm always up.
Always up.
So anyway, speaking of always up, how can we follow your movement, Kenny Kingpin?
You can follow me on all the social medias. It's at Kenny Kingpin. All my social medias are Kenny Kingpin, KENY KINGPIN. And you can find Always Up on all the streaming services: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon, Tidal is there. And then you'll find some other material that I've released in the past and of recent. And you're going to hear a lot from me and see a lot of me. I'm working.
That's it. And, you know, I want you to come back, man,
so we
can continue to talk because, like I said, you're a seeker of knowledge, and I am too. And it's always good to get down with somebody.
Man, I love the trade knowledge and insight.
Get down.
Exactly. I love the trade insight and knowledge.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it. I love it. So guess what? A fish with his mouth closed never gets caught.
Amen. Remember that.
Remember that. That was the quote that laid it up nicely for us. Thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in to Rappers in My Backyard, the podcast that stays lit. We rap about relationships, music, and entertainment, and y'all got to see a great relationship that I got with my man, Kenny Kingpin. So make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube YouTube channel, and guess what? You need to hit that bell, because that's the only way you're going to find out about exciting guests that we have on the show that are laying down all the knowledge we need to do or know to be better in this entertainment industry. Also, check out our website. It's there. It's ready for you guys. And y'all know we keep it lit, so it look good. And I can't wait until next Sunday so we can talk, express, relate, connect. We love you guys. And what you got to say, Kenny? Shout them out. Shout them out. Get us out.
Up. Shout out to all my people back east. Shout out to all the people who've been, all of these essential workers who've been on the front line battling this pandemic and this virus.
That's it.
That we are being under attack. Shout out to all those, and and also those who have lost loved ones and the loved ones that are lost. And shout out to rappers in my backyard. Always up, Kitty Kingpin.
I love you, Kingpin.
Likewise.
And with that, family, thank you guys again for tuning in. Have a great week. Don't take it. Y'all better make sure, do your homework. Always love. I'm LisaO, and you know I'm running this thing, and we're out. Mwah! We rap about relationships, entertainment, and music. You heard?